Good morning, everybody. This is the November edition of the Tableau Newbie User Group, and it's our last meeting for this year. So we want to thank you for being here. We're going to wait a few minutes while people sign in. But what we'd like you to do, and what I'd like you to do today, especially, is to go out to the chat. Let us know where you're from. And it's beginning to get cold where we are. And let us know if you've had snow already this year. Now, I know some of you are in the Southern Hemisphere. So for you, let us know if you've seen any flowers pop up or flowers have gone into bloom. But we'd like to know what it's like where you're from. Okay. Hey, New Hampshire, good to see you in the house. Chicago, always good to see you. Michael, you came back in again. Good to see you, Michael. Where is Estonia? I don't know where Estonia is.
I can show you when I'm going to do my tips, Jim, because I'm going to show Europe.
Okay.
You know that country called Europe that all the Americans know about?
Yeah. I don't know on my map. It's all the same color. It just have different colors in there. Now it's all one color. Hi, St. Louis. I used to live in St. Louis. It's good to see you. Glad that you're with us today. Hilton, New York, the snow is melting. That's pretty early. Well, you haven't hit perma snow yet. Okay, San Diego, I used to live out there also. I know you haven't seen snow, but we're glad to have you in the house. I always like San Diego. Hey, Bart, thank you for asking how Purdue's doing. Has basketball season started? Okay. Pam Butler, everybody wave to Pam. Pam's one of the co-leaders of the Nashville user group. Welcome, Pam. We'll wait just a couple more minutes. And
while we're waiting, if you see Jim's pinned message in the chat, can you just give a little thumbs up? We tried to pin a message before we started. It says link to January 15th. If you can see that message, will you give me? Oh, thank you, Connie. Okay, we can see.
Connie, thank you. I was supposed to announce that, but as usual, I forgot.
We're a team. There's a team for a reason.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We got about 130 already signed in, so that's really a great start. We expect about twice that many. Joey in Middle Tennessee, where in Middle Tennessee are you? Because I'm in Nashville, and you're certainly welcome to join the Nashville user group, the Nashville Tug. Chapel Hill, just south of Nashville. Yeah, I think I know where that is. Well, I'll tell you what. Look up the Nashville Tug. We'd love to have you join us at our next meeting. Madison, Wisconsin, one of my favorite cities. I've raced up there. I've enjoyed Madison quite a bit. So welcome. Glad you're in the house today. Tori, thanks for putting the link to the Nashville user group in there. If I'd been on top of my game, I would have had it ready. But it's like that thumbs up thing. I just don't get it.
Yeah, shall we start, Jim?
Yeah, I think we're about ready. I think we're about ready to go. Thank you once again for joining us today. And I think Klaus and I really want to thank you. This is 4 full years since Klaus and I started this group, and it's really it's really important to us, and we're really glad that you have taken time out to be with us. I also want to thank you for being part of the community. The couple things I want to bring to light here in terms of housekeeping. You've already noticed that your cameras are turned off and your audio or your video and audio are disabled. There's just going to be too many people out there today, and there's only so much bandwidth to work with. But we encourage you to use the chat to talk back and forth to one another. And also, if you have questions, and this is kind of really important with this many people out there, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A. We're going to follow through with the Q&A, and we're going to try to keep up with what's going on with the Q&A. Now, the meeting is being recorded. So, and I'm sure someone's going to ask, but the meeting is being recorded. And within a couple of days, and certainly by the first part of next week, that recording is going to be available out on the Tableau user group website. And if you go up to it, that pinned block up at the top of the screen, That will show you where the user group website is, and you can just go down there and you'll find the recording. Now, I know some of you, this is your first meeting. You haven't been with us before. That's great. Thank you for being here. Klaus and I started this group, like I said, 4 years ago, because we found that a lot of new users, and when I talk about new users, I'm talking about users that maybe have 1 year or 2 years of experience and they want to advance their skills. They didn't feel real comfortable with the tugs that other tugs that were available, or maybe they just didn't plain know about them. This group is for you. It's for people with 1 or 2 years of experience, and you want to advance your skills, or you want to enhance your skills. We only expect you to be with us for about a year, and then we think you're going to matriculate to another group. The analytics group is a great group, or maybe it's a local group that you want to be with. But you're certainly welcome to stay with us and meet with us every week. And we do have some people who've been with us from the start. We do about 7 meetings a year, every 6 to 8 weeks. Meetings usually take there's 2 different types of presentations. One is that, how does that work? Where we take a deep dive into a feature or a function, and we look at how it works and help you understand better how it works, so that you can use it better in your own presentations. Then we have a featured guest speaker. We've got a couple today, and then we have some fun time. And today we've got Maddie's quiz, and Maddie's quiz is you're going to enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And before you ask, yes, there are no prizes and there's no cash award that goes with the winner of the quiz. Okay.
Maybe one thing to add. I think today the recording is more important than ever, because Tore and Nhung will just go wild speed-wise.
Yeah.
So we will have a speed tipping session today, and prepare to get blown away by the tricks they will share. I'm also really looking forward to this. But to really get what they do, you need the recording, definitely.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, after I'm done here, Klaus is going to talk to us about building great looking dashboards and how you can make your dashboards look great. Now, Klaus is very modest. Klaus is a Hall of Fame visionary, but in addition to that, he is the original winner of Iron Viz Europe. I think I got that right. But Klaus really knows how to create great looking dashboards, and we're in for a real treat today. And then Tore and Nhung are going to take over, and they're going to do 40 tips in 40 minutes, but we gave them 30 minutes to do it in. So they're going to talk really, really fast. But like we say, you can use the recording and slow that down, and we're just going to have a fun time. And after that, we're going to have a quiz, so it's going to be fun. Thought you'd like to meet the team. Okay. Let's go around and we'll introduce ourselves. Swati, you want to introduce yourself? Tell everybody where you're from and.
Hi everyone, my name is Swati and I'm from London. I've been using Tableau probably from 2022 or so. No, 2020. So it's been quite a long while, and I've joined Tableau Newbies talk 1 year ago. So right from there, it's quite a journey, and I'm loving it. Happy to meet you all.
Okay. Klaus?
Yeah, I'm Klaus. I'm from Münster in Germany, where I work as a professor at Münster University of Applied Sciences. And in that role, I started using Tableau in 2017. I quite quickly found out about the Tableau community and started doing things in the community like Iron Viz, what Jim mentioned. And then I also became one of the visionaries. I'm also part of Apps for Tableau in the Netherlands. So we create extensions for Tableau to do the things that are maybe not possible yet in Tableau, and to help our customers with that.
Okay. Viraj is not with us today. He's got some personal issues he's dealing with. Ankur?
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Ankur and I'm from Bangalore, India. It's been more than 5 years since I'm using Tableau for my work.
Okay.
I am a beer brewer turned Tableau developer. So yes.
What a combination.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to confess, I've had a few beers when I'm using Tableau also, so it is a good combination.
Yeah.
Benjamin?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, my name is Benjamin, and I've been a student ambassador for Tableau for about 2 times. I've been playing with Tableau since 2021, and I'm based in Windhoek, Namibia, but I'm currently in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Maddie?
Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie Wild, and I usually live in Indianapolis, Indiana, but today I am in Kansas City, actively looking for Taylor Swift to see if she is here to see Travis Kelce. But really, I am here for an evaluation conference because that's what I do. I'm an evaluator. I work at a foundation, and so I'm working with public data, grantee data, and private data, and I use Tableau Public a lot. I have been using Tableau for 4 years and then been part of the newbie group for about 3, I think.
Yeah, Maddie's a superstar with us. And my name's Jim Dehner. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, or just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I too am one of the visionaries, and I've been using Tableau for 10 years.
So this will be our last meeting for this year. We will start again in January with Matthew Miller, like Jim already mentioned. And I think we covered a lot of topics this year. So the goal is always to help you getting started with basic things in Tableau. We try to make things not too complicated. But nevertheless give you some helpful tips to get started with the product. And like Jim also said, we expect that maybe at some point this gets a little bit too boring because you just made your steps with the tool and somehow want to move forward. That's fine for us. So we had a lot of also inspiring sessions from people from the community. I think of Robert Redburn was with us, Harim at the start of the year. We had Kevin Wee last time with a really cool presentation, and of course this time Tore and Hong Lee. So we hope that there's always something for you to pick from these presentations. As you know, we have our YouTube playlist with a lot of content over the last 4 years. So everything around getting started with Tableau, we've got you covered.
I think all of our 4 years worth of work is recorded, and I think it's all available on our website. The playlist is out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's a date you're going to want to put on the calendar. January 15th is going to be our next meeting in 2026, and it's hard to imagine it's really 2026. But January 15th is going to be that meeting, and we are honored to have Matthew Miller, who's the Vice President of Product Management, speak to us, and he's going to talk about Tableau Next. And I see questions every day about Tableau Next, and I'm sure you've got questions about Tableau Next. This is your opportunity to get some of those questions answered. The link is in the chat. You can also very quickly take a look at that QR code or snap that QR code and get out and register for that today. We'll also bring the QR code up at the end of the meeting. So there's several opportunities to sign up for this meeting. But that's going to be a very good meeting and a good start to the new year.
Okay, good. Last time I think Jim and Viraj talked about actions, so something on the dashboard already. And today I would like to also look into building dashboards. And again, like I mentioned earlier, this will also be about basic techniques and features to get you started. We actually won't build a real dashboard today. But I would like to focus a lot of some design principles that you can easily apply when you create a dashboard and how you can implement these design principles with Tableau or on a Tableau dashboard. So this will be a lot about containers and how you can use blanks to somehow get more control over these containers, because I'm quite sure that you have seen this, that behavior that containers just behave strangely and do not do what you want. And blanks are a good way to circumnavigate these issues. And I would just like to show you how I do it normally, to let them do what I want. Yeah, and then some other features from the dashboard page, like show and hide. So just keep the dashboard clean, and show and hide is a very simple technique to do that. We also have the dynamic zone visibility to even have more control in hiding or showing dashboard zones, but I won't go deeper into that part. Yeah, and then of course navigation, filter buttons, and download buttons. These are the things that are available as dashboard objects, and maybe you have never used them, and I would like to show you where you find them and what they do. Yeah, but first, I want to start with a great looking dashboard. And Hung Lee, you might know, of course, Ellen Blackburn. She's also from the Information Lab, and she's one of my favorite dashboard designers. Whenever she puts something out on Tableau Public, I look at it and I just think, wow, this is just beautiful. And it's not about the crazy chart that she's using. When you look at this example, it's only bar charts. It's column bar charts and horizontal bar charts. But I think the thing that makes this dashboard just looking so good is the way Ellen implements these design principles that you might already heard about, but which I'm going to introduce today as well. Yeah, so idea is at the end of this little session, we will build a wireframe that should look somehow similar to this dashboard of Ellen, and by doing that, I will basically show you how you can use containers and other things like padding, for example, to build out something like this. Yeah, when talking about the design principles, I'm borrowing a few slides from Ben Mangel. Ben is also from the Information Lab, and he's one of my former students who still comes visiting me once a semester. And he also talks about dashboard design. And I just borrowed his slides because I think he really puts it well together here. So when looking at Ellen's dashboard, one thing that she does really great is to leverage the law of proximity. What is the law of proximity? So when you put elements together on a dashboard and they are near or proximate to each other, then they get perceived as that they are grouped together and belong to each other. Yeah, like you can see here on the Google website, there are no big divider lines or anything else, but the content is just grouped together through proximity. Yeah, and this way we can easily see what belongs together. And Ellen has that here as well. For example, in these areas here, there is a number, there's a bar. These are two different objects on her dashboards, but they belong together, and we see that they belong together without any further ado. Yeah, or in these bar charts, we see that these columns belong together because they are close to each other. Yeah, that is one design principle. Second one is the law of common region. So when you have regions, like in this example, and within these regions, you put some content, then people will perceive these elements as one group, and they will understand that they belong together. Yeah, also one thing that you can easily leverage when building one of your dashboards, and Ellen has done that here. So for example, these two here in the middle, you see these are different objects, like the top 10 were the other chart on the left side in each of the containers, and then the other bar chart. We know that they belong together because they are grouped into one object. Yeah, and this way we see them together. Then next principle is the white space thing. So don't be afraid to put white space on your dashboard. I think that's a very, very good recommendation, like in this poster from a museum in Germany. So there is very little content on this page, but yeah, that makes the content pop out more, and you can really focus on the important things, and each element can be perceived in an easy way. Yeah, and we see that here as well. So Alan put enough white space between the elements, but also within each element. There's padding. The content is not sitting too close to the borders of these elements. So there's always room. There's always white space, and this makes it really easy and pleasant to look at. Yeah. Then the fourth and the last principle already before we switch to Tableau is the grid. So try to align your objects on a dashboard. Again, like in this poster, so you see these red lines highlighting how nicely everything is aligned. The squares, the text, but also the distances between the squares and between the text. So everything follows a rule, and this makes it again very, very pleasant to look at. Yeah, and we can also see that on Ellen's dashboard. So when I just put on some lines, you see how nicely everything is aligned, and yeah, I think that makes it so nice to look at. And there's also the aesthetic usability principle or effect. When people look at your dashboards and they have something so nicely presented, they also trust your information more than if it would not. Yeah, so there are a lot of reasons to take care of a good design and to apply these principles as much as possible. Yeah, how can you do that? So let's start with a blank dashboard. And what I will do is I will try to rebuild what Alan did here. So we start with this example, and the first thing that I will do is I will put a main container on my dashboard. Yeah, you have the containers here within the dashboard objects, and it doesn't really matter if we put a horizontal or a vertical container. I think I will start with a vertical container. And since I'm team tiled, you know probably about the different ways to bring objects to the dashboard. So in the tiled view, everything is in one layer. When you use floating, you can have several layers, and elements are floating on the dashboard. That's not possible with tiled. I personally, 99% of my dashboards are tiled because I'm team tiled. I don't think I'd need another reason for this. Yeah, then what's really handy is this item hierarchy here. And you see now I have this tiled container, which is always there, and the vertical container I just put on the dashboard. And one first tip is to always rename and label your elements in the item hierarchy. Then next thing I will do is to put a blank into my main container. Yeah, you see that here. Here. That there now is a blank in it, and this makes it easier to put other elements like other containers into this container, and it doesn't screw up so easily. Okay, so this is the first layer. Then second layer, remember Ellen had this thing here on the left side where she had her filters and some navigation buttons, and yeah, this is the main content area. And I will organize this content in two vertical containers. Yeah, so that's the next thing. So I will put a vertical container into this one. That's the first one. And that's the second one. And since we now start nesting these containers into each other, one tip to not lose overview is to use some color here. So these are my two vertical containers. So this will be the element for my filters, and I will just set it to some width, like, I don't know, 155. I have still this blank here, and I will reuse that blank in this container, and I will set this to some bigger size. I don't know, I think I'm on 1,400 or something. So 1,300 should fill that entire space. Yeah, let's have a look at the item hierarchy. So this will be my filter container. Yeah, and this will be the main content container. All right, good. So we have these two. Then let's go back here. So next thing, yeah, let's focus on the main content. And when I look at this, I see that in this container, I need basically 4 horizontal containers to put my content into. Yeah. So this will be the next step. Add horizontal containers for the title, for the KPI cards, for the first row of charts, and for the second row of charts. Okay, let's do that. Go back here. So we have this blank already in it, and now we can just add some horizontal containers. Do it like this and like that. Yeah, always be careful. Yeah, so this would put the horizontal container into the other one. And when you get this dashed line, yeah, like this, yeah, then I will put it in between and not into the container. Okay, let's again work with some color. Pick a different one here. Oh, no, this is not enough. Let's go orange here. So orange for my horizontal containers. Yeah, and I will put a blank again into each of these horizontal containers. The blank here, a blank here, and a blank here. Yeah, so now we have 4 horizontal containers. This will be the title. Then this will be the KPI cards. And this is row 1 charts. And this will be the row 2 charts. Yeah, and actually, I think when looking at Alan's example, so these two have the same size, row 1 and row 2. So maybe to have even more structure, let's put them in one separate container. Yeah, so I will double click this element. This highlights the container in blue. I will drag that element here. Okay, now it gets tricky. Well, let's undo that. Sorry. So one more step back. Do that one more time. And again, let's put a blank into it. This will keep it at a bigger size. And then I'm trying to do this again. And also bring in that second one. And then I get rid of the blank. And so now I can highlight this one, and with another double click, I have this container, and I can give that some bigger size, let's say 600, and I will distribute the content evenly. Yeah, so that is looking good already. And yeah, this one I will set to, I don't know, 100. Yeah, and the first container I will set to 80 or something. Yeah, then I still have some space left. So I will just fill up my big container here and go with 650. Yeah, this is looking good. Okay, yeah, now everything is almost in place. So I have this container, I have this container, and let's go back to the example here. So we are basically here. And I think we can add some padding here already to show also the layer beneath. And I will just give this some outer padding, and then you see that the yellow is popping up in the back. Also, I'll go 8 here. I will go 8 here. And also here. Yeah, so this will later be my grid, so the nice alignment of everything. And then I need the horizontal containers again in these elements to hold my charts. Let's see, everything's still looking good here. We can rename this element. These are my charts. This is row 1. I need to flip these like this. I will keep it like this and just rename this one to row 1. And this is row 2. Yeah, so this way I think we are still nicely structured. Everything is looking good here. Okay, final thing, let's put in 2 horizontal containers here and another one. Yeah, and distribute the content evenly. Can get rid of my blank, and we should give this another color, maybe to make it really pop. Also this one, and again add some padding. Also for this one, and I will do the same here at the bottom. 1 horizontal, 2 horizontal. Distribute the content evenly, get rid of the blank, and yeah, give it some color. And this as well. Okay, good. Yeah, here, there's still the blank in it. That container already has this. I think this is all looking good now. Then last thing, let's put 2 blanks into this one. And this one will be the left chart. Let's go back here. Yeah, so we have this left element and the right element. We can also do this here. Let's take another color and set the width to, I don't know, 150. And the second one is then the rest. I don't know, 400. No, 400 is not enough. 500. No. 600. I still have the blank here. Sorry. And give it a color as well. And we will do the same here. And then I'm almost done. This one. This one. Set it to 150. And this one is good. Okay, good. I hope you get what I do here. So we can maybe try to match it a little bit more to the example. So I have my main container here. Let's give that one now a white background. This one also white, black, or maybe let's do a really light gray. Then, or I think Ellen uses some nice blue. Yeah, we can do that as well. Then we have the title. I think title can have no color like that, and we can put in a placeholder maybe. Yeah, so this will become my title. Okay. In this element, let's see, what is it? So this is the KPI cards element. Let's make that also light blue. And this one will be my KPI card. And I think she has 6. So let's just put 6 elements into this one. 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's also give it some color, purple. This one. All right. Yeah, then, so this is this area. Then we have the charts. Yeah, we don't need a background here. So this is good. Then we have row 1. Can also go with this. And we have row 2. Can go with this light blue color. And yeah, it's starting to look okay. I think I need some. Yeah, okay. I think this is not too bad. I see different spacing here. So I don't have this perfectly these perfect distances between all my elements yet. So I see, for example, I think I need more space here on the right side. I need to double this one. And I need to double that one on the left side. And I do the same here. Double on the right side. Double on the left side. Yeah, so I'm just making everything work. I think here I also need double on the right side. Yeah, you do it like this, 16 and 16. I think that was too much. Somehow I think I did it wrong, but now it should be aligned. Yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect, but we're getting closer. I think that main container can have some more padding here. So this one, I think this also needs 8. No, that's the wrong one. I mean, this one, that needs 8. And yeah, we can give that entire dashboard the same color like this. And the main one is white. It should also have this one. Okay, I think I'm almost there, and now I could just start adding charts to this wireframe. Yeah, I think in Alan's example, these elements are also containers where we have 2 sheets within each. Then she has these nice little divider lines in between. You can also do that with blank objects, and then just try to make this look and feel like hers as much as possible. So we can maybe go a little bit darker blue here. I think this one is then also blue for her. We could put, to do that common region, a border around this, like this. Get rid of the pinkish here, and make this a little bit darker. No, I did it like this. Okay, yeah. So this is getting closer, and yeah, this is basically what I wanted to show you with blanks and containers. And then here on the left side, we can have navigation buttons. I would put that one here. So if I had a second dashboard, I could navigate here to the second dashboard. So edit the button, go to dashboard 2. And I will just make this a text and say dashboard 2. I think the font needs to be white. It is already, and I will take the same background here. And this way I will get a nice button to jump to my dashboard. I think that only works in presentation mode. Yes. So that's the button. And same for example, download buttons. So we don't have any data here, but yeah, just take everything you need and that you want your users to be able to download. Can be PDF, can be PowerPoint, can be Excel, or just a CSV with the raw data. Last thing is, so the idea is in general to keep the view as clean as possible. Maybe you don't always need this side element, then just simply use a show hide button like this. Can increase it size-wise a little bit like that. And this will allow your users to close that filter panel and open it up whenever they need it. But when they don't need it, they have full concentration on the content on your main dashboard. All right, I think that's what I wanted to share. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Klaus, there's one that I'm trying to answer right now. Could you just real briefly tell people why you use the containers and then drop worksheets in the containers as opposed to applying the containers directly or applying the worksheets directly?
Yeah, because it will normally end up in a big mess when you just drag on sheets on a dashboard, you will just not be able to, for example, set a specific height or width. You quickly run into issues when you want to apply these principles, like the alignment or the white space. And to me, it worked perfectly always with containers. So that's my big recommendation.
Okay. Klaus, do you want to story? You've known him for so long.
Yes, definitely. It's our very pleasure to have Tore and Nhung today with us. Tore Levinson, Tableau Jedi, Tableau Visionary, and the person who introduced me to the slot machines in the casino in Las Vegas. Yeah. So we've been to a couple of conferences together, and it was always fun. And I think so when we introduced ourselves, when we started learning Tableau, Tore could only laugh silently, because I think you started with version 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay, so he's a real veteran in the field, and it's great to have him with us today. And then we're also really excited to have you, Nhung, with us. Nhung from the Information Lab, and as you know, Information Lab and especially the Data School, has been creating some of the best Tableau talent in the world. Data School in Hamburg and London, in New York, in Australia. They constantly get on new people for the Data School. Therefore I'm really excited to have you here as well. and to hear about your tips.
Okay, Toria, why don't you take over? One thing to remember about Toria, it's really, really important to understand he's from Norway. He's not from any of those other countries out there in Scandinavia, but he's from Norway. Or I think Hanli's going to go first. Hanli,
Yeah, true.
take control. It's all yours.
Thank you. So I will start to share my screen and hope you can see it in a
Yes, we can.
moment now. So hi, my name is Nhung. I am from the Information Lab. I've been using Tableau for 4 years now, and since then I have been amazed with what it can. And earlier this year, I had the opportunity to present 40 tips in 40 minutes with Turger at the Tableau conference. And since then, we have been presenting the tips in a few Tableau user group, and next month also in DataFem London. And today we are very, very happy to share with you a few of our tips, 40 tips in 40 minutes in 30 minutes. So let's see. So we will start with a few parameter tips. And here we have a chart which show 2 parameters that let users which among sales and profits and discount and different date as well. So the first tip is when you write date parameter, you can write that in small character in English that Tableau can read that as a part of the calculation. And then in the displays, you can write any other things in here or other languages. So the purpose is, so when you write the calculation after, instead of the whole calculation, so you see the part day and week and month, you can use the parameter instead. And also if you update the parameter, you don't need to come back and update your calculation as well. So, okay, and now if I change to quarter, that changed as well. Second tip, notice here I have select value parameter, and the name is selected values here as well. So I don't want that, so that is the name of my calculation in here, and I don't want that to pick up the name of the calculation, but I want that to show profit. So we can double click on the axis, and in the title, there is parameters. So I can select that parameter. So now it shows profit. And if I change to discount, that will change to discount as well. And now I want to give my users even more flexibility to exploit the chart. So notice in that part, it is quite far from the zero. So you can't really see sometimes what is happening in here, if that is going up or down. So we can have one parameter, that is as one numeric parameter is showing 0 at the moment. And I will use that parameter to fix the start. And the end can be automatic. Okay. And now if I want to zoom in at this point, I can write in 0.14, and then the chart will zoom in. So here in this sheet, I have one small, caption. So here, if you don't know where it is, you can find it under worksheet and captions. Normally you use caption to write some small things like I do, but sometimes you can actually use that and write the whole documentation inside the sheet. By that way, if you hand over to some other people and they can pick up what you have done in the sheet as well. In the next tip, we're gonna filter something impossible. So here I have a list of the countries and the profit. At the moment, all the country or all the profits are positive. But some ones that want to show only a list of unprofitable countries. So first of all, we need a calculation. So that would be a simple one to say if that is profitable or unprofitable. So put that in the filter. I see only profitable here because at the moment it's the case, but I don't want to see or to wait until the new data to come and maybe come back and change that. So in this section, custom value list, you can go in here and type in unprofitable. enter, and OK. And now it will filter out all the values. But if I look at the other years, I see all the countries with negative profit. Okay, the next one. Here's a pie chart. So normally you can do dual axis to have a donut chart, but you have only 2 layers maximum. So I have this chart here for Tore because he likes all the chart would have the name of the food, like donut chart and waffle chart, lollipop, something like that. And also he liked maps. So I put the chart on the map. And then what can you do with that? So first of all, to do that, I need the point 0. So the point 0 is made of a make point function, 0 latitude and longitude. So someone let's call that the non-islands, and it is this point in the middle. So I can put the point 0 in the chart in the map layers. I change that to a circle, wide, and make that very big. So very quick, we have a second layer. So I can repeat the process again. And now I want that to be a pine and sales in the angles, and we have category in colors. The other layer real quick. And then I'm repeating that here only for 4 layers, but you can do how many as many as you want. And then when we finish, we can go to maps and background layers, wash out to 100%, so you don't see the background anymore. So maybe you will find a few use case for that, and or if you watch Iron Viz for this year, you will see the trick as well. For the next one, I have the list of the cost position. And notice here, I don't have any values in here, and I want to show it here, for example, come in end of the month. So before I knew the trick, I had to write the calculation and say, if the value is none, then show me this and that. But now I know a quicker trick by right-click on the value in here and go to Format. And you notice in the end that have the section of special values. And I can write in here, coming end of month, enter, and it will show here real quick. And if I have that, I can even color that as well. Okay, the next one is kind of a fun one. I like this. So here we have a list of the product and the rating from 1 to 5 in numbers. And I want to display them in stars, not only in numbers. So for that, we need to bring in the stars. That is Unicode value. If you look for them in Google, you can write star Unicode or something like that. And I have here 1 dark star and 1 white star. That is how they call calculated few stars. And then if you do 2/, you can put them in a comment. Okay, first of all, I want to bring in the space function. And then I can take that from above to here. Ad hoc test. Can move things around in here. And now you actually can't see anything in here, but it's doing something. So the space function gives the number of spaces for each number. So the first has 4 spaces in here. And then here it has 1 space. So if I know that, I will come back to my calculation and say, I want to replace 1 space with 1 star. Because it's Unicode, I can easily do that. If I apply it and replace my calculation in here, I will have the stars. And now I want to count that up to 5. So I need the other stars. Maybe I need that first. Copy. And then count that up to 5. So 5 minus this one. Replace the black star with the white one. Hit on OK. So now it's very easy. You have a star rating system, and you can color that in here as well. So next one, we have a few dashboard tips. So in the dashboard, normally if you want to change some things, you have the habit, or me as well, to go back to the sheet and change everything in here. But actually, there are a lot of things you can change in the dashboard. For example, if you go to Analysis, Edit Calculated View, you can go back to the calculation. So for example, if I change one small thing in here, hit Apply, so I see the real changes on the dashboard. So you can also go to the worksheet and you find tooltips as well. So you can change the tooltips from here and the quick change. So for you to see that it works, and also on the left-hand side, you have all the name of the dashboard, and you can actually rename the sheet from here. Okay. And the next, I will show you how to send an email from the dashboard. So I have the send email button. At the moment, it's not doing anything, but then I have the syntax. So everything in orange is the thing you have to write, and the other thing you can add in. So mail to me, the subject is Hi Nhung, and the body is here is an email to you as an example, no space, and then copy everything. And I will go to dashboard, set up actions. And for that, we need to go to URL action. And then I want to run that on my send email button. Menus is okay. I want to call that email Nhung, for example, and put on the URL. Okay. And now if I go back to my send email button and click on that, I see email Nhung. And if I click on that here, it will compose to me an email that say, Hi Nhung, here is an email to you, like what we wrote before. And not only that, we can write our body text already in the calculated view. For example, here is a list of the customer and how many months have they been with the superstore. And if I go to edit calculated view, I will see, okay, I write it here, dear customer name, thank you for being a valuable customer since how many months. So that is two things that it changes customer by customer. And then you can't really format that, but there's a few things you can do in here. So let's see what it does. So if I have set up already, click in here, send email to this customer. It will say, dear Silona price, and it's pick up the correct numbers. And it will be the same for the other customer. So now I will move to the other dashboard. I have rebuilt that a little bit for the data frame slam in Frankfurt earlier this year. So I built that in the kind of story, how has inflation impacted my daily life? So I called that the breakfast use case. Started with this breakfast. I paid €10 for a long time ago. And you know, with inflation, the price changes every year. So we will start with the running product calculation. So that is quite not very popular. Running production is something similar to running sum, but with multiplication instead of addition, like what you see in here. And with that, how do we do the calculation? So first, we will bring in values. So the values in here, and we want that to time the value before. So for that, we need to bring in the previous value function. And then the first row, we don't have any previous value. So we want that to multiply by 1. And then I can test this one directly. And then that works. 1 times 2 is 2, times 3 is 6. So now we can come back to our price calculation for the inflation use case. So if I say that the price is €10, and that is the inflation. So if I say 7%, for example, is compared to the year before, not compared to the €10 in the beginning. So that's why we need running production. And then the first thing we want to try or want to prepare is this column. It will start with €10. And the rest will be 1 plus inflation, because if inflation is 7%, that means that you need to pay 107% to the price you paid the year before. And then the whole thing times previous values of 1. And now I have the yearly price and I put it in here. So that is how much I need to pay every year. And now I want to look at that from the other perspective. With €10, how much can I buy then? So take 10 divided by all the price. I have the percentage. So first year, the whole breakfast, second year, 90%, and the last year, a bit more than 50%. And then display that in bar chart, you can see that it's going down years after years. And now if I put the years from the rows to page, I can do the animation with that. But I said in the beginning that I want to see the impact of inflation in my daily life, or in my breakfast, not in the bar chart. So I can do the same thing as well with my whole breakfast to see is getting less and less every year. And the trick here is so that you can have images above the chart. So that is some image, and behind that is a bar chart and a pie chart, and that is a half of the pie chart. And the trick here is, so that is called a view-shaped chart. And inside, you need to make that transparent, and then everything outside of this, you have to have the same color of the background color, so you can do something like that. So that was my tips. Thank you very much. And now I will hand over to Tore.
Thank you. I'm going to be showing you now 25 tips of how to build pie charts. Let me share my screen. I like Pam saying that she needs to see everything again in 0.25 speed to catch all the tips. So if you think that Nhung is speaking fast, just hold on tight. So how many minutes do you have, Jim? Well, I'll just stop me when I'm
you can go wild, Tore.
I want to thank some people from the data farm first, including 3 of you on the call in here, and some people, I guess, maybe in the audience as well. Not all of these tips are just invented by myself, but gathered through all these years since version 7 back in 2012 when I started using Tableau. So I'm going to start with a function. We're looking now at a nice little box and whisker plot, and the problem with all of these subcategories, well, there's not a problem with them, but you see that there's a lot of circles in here, and that's for each and every order ID. But how many are there in copiers or envelopes? One tip is to just click on it, and then you see on the tooltip down here, we get this 251 items. Okay, so that tells me something. What if I go to labels? We have 348, and paper we have 1,205. But we have no idea that there's that many because it's overlapping each other. So if you double click on any columns or rows, you probably have missed or just double clicked on any green or blue pills as well, meaning that they're all functions. You can click on them and edit. So now if I'm going to create an ad hoc calculation, in this case, I'm going to create or use a function that is supported by Tableau, but it's not documented. So you don't find it in the help function, but it's called random. You see that it doesn't pop up on the IntelliSense, but you see it in here. So I can click enter. And what it actually does, it gives all these different dots a value between 0 and 1, so that you get a nice little spread, or jittering as it's called. And then we see, for example, the paper, we see that there's a whole bunch of circles in here, even though we don't necessarily see the exact number, but it's a bit better than having everybody just stacked on top of each other. This axis looks really rubbish, so just right click and get rid of it, and you still keep the subcategories on top. And then if you click on any of these, this is also a nice little trick. If you haven't seen this, you see that all the dimensions are underlined. So if I click on copiers, you highlight all the copiers. Well, there's only one order ID, but maybe Hunter has purchased multiple products. You can get that insight. If that doesn't work on your setup, check your tooltip and make sure that allow selection by category over here is ticked on. If it isn't, it won't work. I'm going to keep working on the same data, but now I'm going to combine this random function. So we still see the same ones that we have in here. But I'm going to move my sales over to size. That doesn't help too much, but now the larger the size of the circle, the larger or the more sales we have. And now I'm going to create a new calculation. This time I'm going to use index, and index is both supported and documented in Tableau. See that when I click on this, still the visualization is a bit messy, so I'm working on something in here. You see that this has a triangle in it, meaning that it's a table calculation. So a table calculation always needs to have scope and direction. And what I would like the index to do is to compute this by each and every customer, meaning that each and every customer inside of each and every subcategory get an index from 1 till whatever, how many customers we have. So this one is also a way of showing how many do we have, or how many customers do we have. The circles are showing the size, volume of the sales, and then the location on this index is just showing that we have roughly, well, if you go to accessories in here, we have 474 customers. In binders, we have 651. And then again, also get rid of this axis. And you have, I'm not sure what the name of this is, but it's kind of a jitter-packed, bubbled bar chart, amazing visualization. Another thing people tend to do is to add multiple measures in a view. So in this case, I have these delivery modes. I have the discount going from whatever percentage, 13 till 16. Quantities goes up to the 7,000, and then we have sales. I can't even see the entire sales in here because of, well, there's a limitation in the space, but it goes to 400,000. The problem is that the color goes from light blue to dark blue, and it covers all those measures. And we can't really compare the 400,000 with 17%, because 17% is 0.017 or whatever it is. So if we go to the marks card on measure values and see this drop-down box, we can use separate legends for each and every measure we have in the view. So if I select this one, you see on the right-hand side, I have one for average discount from 12 to 18, and we have the variation for this one, also for quantities and for sales. And if you want to, you can, of course, go into each and every one of these and have separate colors for all. But be a bit careful, because don't use colors just because you can. I mean, look at Klaus's background with all the colors in there. It's a lot. So don't use necessarily different color for all your measures, because it might be a bit messy. Another thing that I realized, and I actually learned the other day, and if you have never ever met Andy Cotgrave, who have been working in Tableau for, well, 12, 15 years. He just left. He'd been using Tableau way longer than me. When I showed him this tip, he was surprised. He didn't know about this, and he'd been using Tableau way more than me. You see that I have the same view. On the right-hand side, I've added measure names to filter. The annoying thing is that I'm only going to be using discount, quantity, and sales in my view. So why the heck should I have all of the other measure names in here? I can't go in and say, well, there's nothing to do to get rid of them basically in the view. So the trick is we right-click and duplicate our data source. I'm going to now, you see that it's ticked on, the data is ticked on for the original data source that I'm also using across my entire workbook. So now I'm going to replace my data source in this particular sheet, only replace current worksheet from the original one to the copy, and say OK. Still nothing is happening, but now I can do something in here that won't affect the rest of my workbook. I can go into this tiny triangle, and I'm going to hide all my unused fields, meaning that the only fields that are available are the ones that are in this particular sheet. I hide, and lo and behold, on the right-hand side, it's the only measures that are used in my view, and I can click on only those. Another thing that's a bit annoying, I have to say, especially when you think about if you have something in here, let's say we also have delivery mode on color. You might have seen that if you put something on color, you can drag and drop these labels and change the order. That's pretty neat, right? But what about my filter? I would like to have, doesn't matter how I change the order of my filter, of my measures in here. the filter is still alphabetically. So I can't drag and drop in here. But if you go to your measure names in data pane, you right click, because that's your best friend in Tableau next to Control Z. And that is to go in to change your default properties and your default sort. And we'll do a manual sort, because I would like to have sales on top, discount in the end. I close this, and we see the measure name filter is changing as well. There was so many discussions on the chat when Klaus was presenting earlier, and why can't we get some grid lines in the background? Why can't we do this and that? So I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do only on cloud, unfortunately, not Klaus, but on cloud, that you can't do on the desktop. So if I go over to the same workbook in here and go to my dashboard, beautiful dashboard. Don't worry about visual best practice and formatting and everything. Klaus already showed you, but he didn't show you the shortcut, the T for Tore. So if you click the T, you switch between dashboard and layout. So that's a lifesaver. Down here on the layout, we will see that, as Klaus did, he did rename. So that renaming those 200 horizontal containers to something that you really know what is, it's quite helpful. But what you can't do, you can't take a sheet in here. Well, you can do it and drag it, but the problem is if you don't hit that sweet spot of those, that's why Klaus also puts in space or empty objects, so it's easier. But on the cloud, we can, let me just open up a bit in here. I can select, for example, this random sheet. I can drag and drop, move the order inside of a container. I can drag and drop this inside of a completely different container. I can take a complete container and drag and drop inside of anything. So what I often do is I start building on the desktop, and then when I need to rearrange, I go to the dashboard on cloud and then rearrange in there. And I think you could save some time, Klaus, if you have built your container like this, as long as it doesn't contain anything that is a workbook with data in, as long as this is just a text and it's a beautiful picture of this coming on sale on eBay next week, this Action Man figure. If I go to this triangle, I can go in and say copy dashboard item. I can go to a separate dashboard, which is now empty. I can Control V, and I get the dashboard, I get the image, and then I can rearrange as well. So if you create like the first row that you did, Klaus, I think you could copy that entire thing, paste it. It will be floating. I'm not team floating, but as long as it's floating, we can always go in here and tick away the floating and it's tiled again. Another thing you can only do on cloud is something that, let's go to the one with the size. You know that if you have two different sheets and you're doing something with the slider and you would like to have just 50% or 75%, and then you do the next sheet and did I exactly hit the same sweet spot? On server or cloud, you have the opportunity to actually put in the actual percentage. You can't do that on desktop, unfortunately, which is really annoying. Another thing that's fairly new, but that works on both sides, and that is let's go back to this one again. If you don't remember how is your data model, it's probably one table relationed with 3 or 4 more tables. But which one are used in my visualization? You can go to worksheet and you can look at your data model. It pops up in here, also works on desktop. And you see that this is my Superstore data. But are all of these 3 tables used in my view? You can click hide unused tables and see that I'm only using orders in here. That's also something nice to know about your underlying data model if there's something that's wrong. And one feature I realized, I think that was with the previous version, 2025.2, that I didn't know, hasn't been announced anywhere. My data set is not that big, but where is my sum of sales in my data pane? Right click again, and Find in Data pane. That's a new feature. Click on that and it pops up on the left-hand side. Where's my subcategory? Right-click, Find in Data pane. So that works on both desktop and server. And then if you would like to have a grid in the background, you press the G button. You get the grid. You see that it's coming back on and off. This is when you need to have those pixel perfect dashboards that I never bother to do. And if you find those grids to be not big enough or too small, you can always go to grid options and change the size in here as well. So that was a couple of things that I think that I remember all of these. Another one, when you have those floating, if you're on team floating, if you're that crazy and you want to move something pixel perfect, you can use, as long as you selected a sheet, or this sheet is not floating, it's tiled inside of a floating container, use the arrows to move 1 pixel, use the shift arrow to move 10 pixels, and you can go around and have fun for the rest of your day. It was mentioned earlier that I love maps, so feel free to scan this. This is the Data plus Maps user group. We're going to post our next meeting, which will be 11th of December. But there's 2 years worth of good tips and tricks and presentations on this user group. So I'm going to show you, of course, a couple of tricks on maps. I'm not going to put any pie charts or donut charts on a map. I mean, why would I? Especially when Nhung has done it already. So I'm looking at the Nordics in here. You see down here, Jim, here you have Estonia. This is Estonia. This is a country in Europe. Europe is a continent that contains a lot of countries, as you can see in here. So what if I would like to drill down this field map? I can, of course, I have a hierarchy, so I can drill down from country to region, and it works pretty well. But then down to the city. This is, by the way, Bergen. This is where I live, if you want to come visit one day. We don't have casinos, Klaus, so I'm not sure, but we have beer. So what if I would like to see both the field map and the circles for my cities? Well, we can do what Nhung did before. I can go to location, I can drag in my cities and put it on the marks layer. But look at this. Isn't Tableau from the States? Yes, it is. So he thinks that all the cities should belong in the States. We have Kiel, we have Toulon, we have Vinci, somewhere in here. We also have Oslo. So there is an Oslo, not only in Norway, but in the US. And that's because Tableau automatically thinks that this is only in the US. So I need to put in my country, region on detail, and I get the circles where I should have them. I'm just going to make them black so you can see them as well. So now I can hover over, but it's a bit annoying that it's flickering on all these countries in the background. So I can go to my marker layer in here for the maps, or the field map, and say disable selection. So I don't want to flicker on Norway, but I want to look at the different cities, and then of course put something on size if I would like to look at the sales, for example. But what if I only have data for Norway? Why wouldn't I? Because I'm from Norway. So let's put in a filter to only look at Norway. And then those damn Swedes are here. I'm not from Sweden. I'm not from Finland. I lived in both countries, but I'm from Norway. So how can I get rid of these? We can use the same trick that Nhung did, because I have a field map. So I can go to my map background layers, and I can wash away those Swedes that nobody likes. And I can see only Norway in its full glory in here, and I'm happy. If you have a lot of sale, or you see that, for example, in London, that's quite big. Paris is quite big, but we do have some sales in between here, but they're so small and tiny. So instead of looking at those circles, you can go to the marks card and maybe look at density instead. So you see like a big fire across Europe. You see the highlights of where we have the most sale. When we hover over, we still see all those dots in here if we want to. And you can go in and change this density, the colors, the intensity, and the opacity if you would like to adjust it. And then again, we can do something with the pages. So if I now find the order date and maybe look at this for each and every month, I can play like a raging fire across Europe and see the sales, how it has changed over time as well. I'm running long. I'm sorry. I'm gonna end very, very soon. I'm just gonna show you one more map and then one Spotify one. This is more for if you want to have fun with your colleagues, and or if you're going to do something with, you know, people from the States who doesn't know which country is where in Europe. Have you ever tried to get rid of the latitude and the longitude on columns or rows? You end up with all the shapes of all your countries. If you drill down, you get the shapes of your, do that on the color as well. You get the shapes of the states, you get the shapes of everything when you drill down, and then you can do a pop quiz with your colleagues just for the fun of it. So I'm going to end with this one. This is looking at some Spotify data over time. Nice little dashboard with all kinds of music. Just randomly, I've highlighted Aurora because she's from Norway. So I do know that in my data, I have a URL, which is, if I'm going to click on this, I managed to do that. I have an embedded URL. So how does this song sound like? Sorry. So as long as I go into my dashboard, I can add an action. I can add a URL action. That's going to come from my most streamed songs. Just going to find the correct one. I think it's this one. And then I'm going to add my URL somewhere, embedded URL. So if I do this, I click on Aurora again. Since she's from Norway, it goes into the web page. But what if I rather would like to don't leave Tableau? So I can go in here and find that web page, put that inside of Tableau. If I don't put in any URL, I'm just going to put in one just to show you that it works. I'm just randomly picking a web page now. This is the Norwegian pension fund. This is how much money we have in the bank. I'm just bragging. We have way more than the Swedes. Let me get rid of this one. If there is no URL in here, like this, I do the same thing. I click on, well, it's not Aurora, but it pops up in here, and then I can play some music. So you don't have to go outside of Tableau to get this. I have way more tips, but the time is up, and this workbook is published on my Tableau public profile, the starter workbook. So go in there and download it and re-engineer as much as you want.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good tips.
Thank you so much. There was a lot of content to create a quiz from. Okay.
Yeah. Great work, Tori.
Okay, I'm going to start it. So our first question is, how do you create a grid when you are first designing a dashboard? Okay, perfect. And the correct answer that I'm sure that you got is using containers. So that's how Klaus was making his wireframe, how he was making his grid. A lot of people ask the question, how do you just see the grid? Like Tor showed us. It's Control G or Shift G. Someone correct me. I think it's Control G.
Control G.
Control G. Mac and Windows confuse me.
Control. On Windows is just the G button.
Oh, just the G button. Thank you.
On a Mac as well.
Oh, it's just the G button. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry to the people that I said it was Control G. It's just G. All right. True or false? You cannot put a vertical container inside of a horizontal container. So Klaus demoed this, but I don't think he ever said it, but he showed us the answer. And then most of you got that correct. That is false, because you can put a vertical container inside a horizontal one, and vice versa. You can put a horizontal inside a vertical. Those are all the nesting things that Klaus showed us how to do. And that's really critical if you're making a grid. So hope you had one right or learned. Why are wireframes helpful when you're implementing the principles of design as you develop your dashboards? They help create distance or proximity. They make the view customizable to all viewers, or help align objects to a grid. This one actually has more than one right answer, so you can select more than one thing. Okay. And the only thing that was not correct is it makes the view customizable to all viewers. So if you want to make a view customizable, you have to go into device types and make different device types, but that's not a wireframe. You can make new wireframes for each of the device types, and I recommend that you do that. All right. And then this tip was so good. I learned something today. What mechanism was used to create a send email button? A text box with directions to send an email, dashboard extension, or dashboard action? I think if you asked me this question to start this meeting, I would have given you the wrong answer. Yeah, it's not a text box with directions, which is thank you to the 5 people that were on my wavelength. That's my analog brain. No, it was a dashboard action. That was so smart. Okay. That was so good. Okay. True or false, you cannot name a container if it's a floating container. Okay, that one is false. You can name any type of container that you want. Doesn't matter if it's floating or not. What function helps spread out overlapping dots on a dot plot? I made sure to make this a question because I think this is one of the most easy and magical functions that you can use out there. Is it space, random, or rank? It is random. Good job to the majority of you. Helps you see things. I've never seen it used to make a bar chart, but that was really awesome. I also liked that. How can you layer multiple pie charts? Only through a viz extension, using map layers and make point, or using donut charts. This was another great tip. It was so, my brain is expanding. We're always learning. Okay, this was a really good one. You use the make point on your map and you make them different layers. So that was really cool. All right, this is our last question. True or false, you can use a parameter to customize an axis label. True or false? Good job, you all got it right. Yes, you can. Change the name, that was so helpful. Okay, I wanna see leaders. I don't know if I can do that on here anymore. You know what? I don't know who's the leader. That's why we don't give prizes, because we can't even give prizes anymore. We don't know who won. But it gives you your own score. So if you got 100%, you are a personal winner. We're giving participation prizes at this point. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Who do I see? Who 90%? Oh, that's just the
you can show names, I think, if you want to see the winner.
Great. A rougher. And oh wait, is that, I don't think it tells me, or Christy. It doesn't tell you anymore the leader. It's just who got them all right. So Christy, way to get them all right. Jess.
Yes. Yeah.
Michael. PML. Pam Butler. Great work, Pam Butler. That's why she's the leader. She's smart, guys. Go to the Nashville Tug. Okay.
Go to the Nashville Tug. There you go.
Go to the Nashville Tug. I'm going to stop sharing. Give me 1 second.
Okay, your non-prizes will not be in the mail, but you can go home and brag tonight, have a glass of wine, or just enjoy the day. Okay, thank you very much for attending. If we'd love for you to attend our January meeting on January 15th. The link is up here in the chat, and we hope to see you in January. Hey, listen, everybody, have a nice holiday. Be safe, and we'll see you in January. Thank you very much.